What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody, and happy Day Out of Time. This is a very magical, mystical day, and it's from astrology buffs, it's a very extraordinary astrological time. And we're going to learn all about that because tonight we have an evening with 5 wise women. And in no particular order, one of those wise women is Rihanna Skywalker, who is here to share with us all about what is going on with a Mayan calendar, day out of time, maybe a little astrology. We also have one of our favorite presenters, Anadea Judith, is back, and she's got something really exciting and new to share with all of you. And this is a woman that Omar Shah and I met when we were in Santa Fe for the Evolutionary Leaders. She hosted us for dinner at her home, and we were all very taken with her. And it was like, Cassandra, I want you to meet our Awakening World audience. And of course, you saw her briefly when we were live casting from her home. She came and sat next to me for a little bit. But tonight we're going to learn more about the wonderful work she's doing and her brand new book. And we also are blessed to have with us, there she is, Linda Starwolf. And she is, of course, one of our regular people, and she is going to lead a beautiful shamanic journey for us tonight. And it's especially impressive that she's with us because she and her beloved are packing up and going to Portugal soon. Now, these are the original 4 wise women, but we are blessed to have a 5th joining us, and it's Mary Cromwell, who, of course, you've seen on the show before, who is part of the Founding Mothers, along with Anadea. And she also has a really special program. I saw that she was doing something tomorrow, and I said, well, we got to let our audience know about that. So here we are. And thank goodness I'm blessed to have a Saturday night date with these 5 wise women, but I am grateful to have my beloved brother Omar Shah as well. And he, of course, is going to get us off to a flying start wearing his Day Out of Time pyramid shirt and backdrop.
Yes, indeed, and welcome, welcome. I love Days Out of Time because I feel that I do not have to do anything, and that is very, very cool. So welcome, everybody. Namaste, everybody who's watching on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you so much for tuning in. And this is, the song is called Kingdom of Gold, and kingdom as in kin. K-I-N, and gold as in the fluid that fills our spinal columns and our nerve canals is now is time for us to be refilled. So without further ado, let's do this.
dream so old. It is born of our longing for a kingdom pure as gold, a kingdom pure as gold. Told by the ancients is a story true of a new world that's birthing in the hearts of me and you, the heart of me and you. Echoes of Eden and the Holy Grail, sent from the heavens, a message through the veil, a message through the veil. And so come all ye who are cold and lost to a new way of being and a kingdom pure as gold, a kingdom pure as gold.
Let's go to Gallery View and send lots of love and appreciation to our beloved Bashar, who will be back multiple times tonight.
I'll be back.
I got to ask you, tell us a little bit about the origin of that song.
This song was written. I had I have a friend who lives in Mount Shasta. He's called Shalimar, and he always used to write these songs of kind of the Knights of the Round Table and Camelot. And this thought came into my head about Kingdom of Gold, and the kingdom being not kingdom as in patriarchal, but the kingdom of gold, how we're all connected together. And at the same time, it's that, we're all been listening to this story of the ancients, a true story of a new world that's birthing within us. And so it just came to me. And at the end of each verse, there's the line is repeated. It's an old kind of a style of writing. And so this gentleman inspired in me this style of writing, and this is what came out: echoes of Eden and the Holy Grail, sent from the heavens, a message through the veil. So come all ye who are cold and lost to a new way of being, a kingdom pure as gold. And so the kingdom is the kingdom within, as we know, and just so that it's not wrapped up in patriarchy, it's the kingdom. We're all kin. There's only one of us here in many forms. And so that is a short version, Scott.
Well, I was wondering because it does have a very kind of magical, mystical, lyrical quality to it.
It is. Yeah, it is. It's kind of awesome. In the Air is a dream so old, and so it was written with the thought of Camelot and how everybody at that time, everybody. I'm summating something that I don't even really know about except in lore. How we were all serving each other because we are here to serve, and of course, if you live on Hawaii, you are here to surf, and so. Anyway,
All
Diladon, yeah,
right.
exactly.
All
Thank you.
right.
All
Thank you,
right, see you in a little
Angela.
while.
I love you.
Love you too.
It is my pleasure to bring up the first of our wise women, and many of you know her. She was coming on the show way back in the Saturday Night Alive with the Global Peace Tribe days. And of course, this is Anadea Judith. She's the author of many best-selling books, including Wheels of Life. You know, Anadea, I had Wheels of Life decades ago. It was, and it always stood out because it was a big book, so it stood out on the bookshelf. Um,
It's
uh,
almost 40 years that it's been out. Next year will be 40 years.
40 years. Wow. And it really is one of the classics of our New Thought tribe. It's right in between Seth Speaks and Autobiography of a Yogi. Um,
Wow.
She is best known for her groundbreaking work with the chakras, which is, of course, what Wheels of Life were all about. She also wrote Eastern Body, Western Mind, which is a very important book. And she travels all over the world. She's, of course, dedicated to personal and global transformation. And she is a Renaissance woman. She teaches and studies and practices personal growth, yoga, psychology, evolution, all for social change as we create this awakening world. Her students have spanned, get this, over 163 countries, and her books are in 28 languages. And she works very prominently with women's issues. So welcome, Anadea, back to the awakening world.
Thank you, Scott. It's so great to be here again and be in your wonderful presence. You are such a great host. I just love the sound of your voice and the way you manage all this. It's really inspiring and inspiring to work with you and the evolutionary leaders and all the things we're up to. And thank you, everyone, for showing up on this Saturday night. And I'm really honored to be here and be able to speak in this day out of time. I didn't know that it was a day out of time. That was great. And we're going to kind of span past, present, and future to be out of time, looking at archetypes of women's leadership. And I've been thinking about this all my life. I, came along the priestess path again about 40 years ago. I was ordained in 1985 and started studying, herstory, what happened before patriarchy came along, and began studying women's archetypes and worked with them in my private practice and worked with them in my workshops. And especially, as I looked at politics and way back when Hillary Clinton was running and all the comments about her hem or her hair or how hard it was for a woman to step into a kind of global leadership role. And I realized that women lead differently than men, and they need different archetypes to guide them. And so many women shy away from leadership because it has this masculine overtone, and they say, well, I'm not that. And so they shy away from leadership altogether. So I'm going to show little slides and just put this in a context, and then I'm going to take you through these archetypes that I created in my She Rises archetype card deck and how I use those. So let me share here. And get my, oops, just a second here. There we go. Seeing this okay?
Yes, we do.
So when I did this, I called it She Rises, Awakening Our Female Archetypes of Leadership. And then I wanted to take it into a movement, like a movement of women waking up to these archetypal possibilities, waking up the superpowers within themselves. So igniting a global movement of women's empowerment and leadership. And then I took that into the Founding Mothers movement and was working with other women in that who are standing for women's rights and peace and trying to make a global movement of women rising up into their power and bringing balance to this world. So I don't think I need to belabor the point to this audience that we are at a crucial evolutionary turning point. And I think we all know that. And it's very complex. And the values of achievement and dominance and certainty and production, they are largely masculine values. They've shaped our governments, our institutions, and we take them for granted. And they've given us many good things, the highways and the airports and computers and many, many things. In fact, sometimes I say, you know, men have a thing and women have a place, and men have given us a world of marvelous, marvelous things. But in the process, they've trashed the place. And we need to kind of bring the place as sacred and bring that into a partnership. So a lot of these values are out of balance with the more feminine values of cooperation and compassion and creativity and a different kind of leadership that isn't always leading from in front with all the answers, sometimes leading from behind by getting the whole group to get together and making sure that everyone is participating. So without leadership of a feminine nature, women will have little influence over the world's transformation. And even though women have come a long way in the job market and in recognition and coming into different areas of the world, they haven't made a lot of progress in leadership. But without women in leadership, these values are unlikely to change. So women lead differently than men, and they need different archetypes to guide them. If we're to hold up half the sky, we got to break through that glass ceiling to reach the sky. So just in a survey of 64,000 individuals across 13 major countries, this was in a book called The Athena Doctrine, written by two men, John Gersema and Michael D'Antonio. Over two-thirds of those, agreed that the world would be better off if we had more feminine leadership or leadership from more feminine values. And yet, even though two-thirds of the world, and this was 13 countries, Japan, United States, South American countries, European countries, yet women make up 54.3% of the workforce, but only 35% of leadership positions. We earn 60% of all graduate degrees, and yet earn $50,000 a year less than men with the same education. Out of 193 countries, only 15% are headed by women as heads of state or head of government. Among Fortune 500 CEOs, only 7.4% are women, and we still only earn 82% on the dollar. And you know, they've found among CEOs, when there are more women in either the board of directors or as presidents or heads of the companies have they make better stock performance, they have less turnover in their employees, they have more people being happy working where they are, they make more money. So that really the statistics are showing that women contribute something to, you know, what these companies are about. Even though those are sort of masculine values, they still contribute to this in really profound ways. Of course, we know there's only 25% women in the U.S. Congress, and we have never had a woman president, and we still don't have the Equal Rights Amendment. So I began asking, you know, how can we help women awaken the superpowers that are found in their natural styles of leadership, ways that women naturally are leading, and to understand that as leadership? How do we reclaim the forms of leadership that were once, and this is where we go into the past, highly respected, such as the healer, the midwife, the oracle, or the priestess? And I will talk about some of those later. How do we bring more honor to women in the roles of mothers and teachers and performers that are doing a kind of leadership? How do we honor that more? How do we empower emerging archetypes that are coming, not ancient ones, but ones that are coming, like the activist? 60% of activists are women. The trailblazer, the benefactress. Now that women are starting to come into money, what do they do with that money? They help spread it around. Or the stateswomen, the women holding political office. And how do we support women's needed contribution to the global conversation about who we are, where we're going, and how we get there? So I created this set of archetype cards, 38 archetypes of women's leadership, and they're like a greeting card. You open it up. In fact, I can show one here. And there's a poem that is the archetype speaking directly in the I voice. There is the she section, which tells you about that archetype. And there is the you section that is when you want to work with this archetype, it is asking you to open your heart, get grounded, whatever that archetype is asking. So I'm going to take you through these, and they go in a certain order, starting with a simplicity where women's focus might be singular, and then into more complexity as women get older in their life and deal with more complexity. And so we begin with the spinner. In Greek mythology, there is the spinner, the weaver, and the cutter, the three sisters or the three fates. The spinner is the one who begins everything. And in the card, I say that, maybe the universe didn't start with a masculine big bang, but with a slender, tender thread of an idea. And this is the idea that comes down into our consciousness that is the very, very beginning of something. And then it spins its way into manifestation. And women take these ideas and they are always spinning. The spinner was definitely an ancient women's archetype. And what do we think about when we're spinning? We're creating. Life begins with a slender thread that is our core. And then the next one, of course, is the mother, because everything comes from the mother. And each of these cards has a verb, I nurture. And the mother is the source of everything for women and the first leader that we all knew. She taught us how to eat, and she taught us how to sit up, and she taught us our manners, and she taught us how to play with our friends, and she taught us how to be in the world. She was the first leader we ever knew. And of course, we don't have a mother without a midwife. The midwife was always someone who brought life into the world. And this card I see not so much as a physical midwife who is birthing babies, but as the woman who is, her form of leadership is helping others bring something into being that they're trying to give birth to. She might work as a coach who is helping someone birth a business. She might be a counselor who is helping them birth a healthy relationship. She is someone who is helping others bring something into being, and she delivers. And of course, once the mother has both boy babies and girl babies, and here we're talking about feminine archetypes, then the girl baby starts to grow up and becomes the maiden. Now, the maiden, mother, and crone are a sacred trinity. And the maiden is the promise. She is the freshness. She is the unsullied innocence that has the fresh ideas and the power of the untapped feminine. And in our culture, she's not very protected, but she has a power. The young women have a power and a way of looking at things that we need to listen to and entertain. Now, it's not long before the maiden becomes the lover, because she is beautiful and she falls in love, and the lover is the cherishing. It is the lover in the sexual way, in the romantic way, but also in the more profound way of cherishing, of caring, of partnering, of bringing love to the world. And the lover is also the gardener. She's cultivating. So this is another way that women cultivate what's there. There's an organic process, not rushing things, knowing that, the tomatoes will ripen in their own time, and they need love and care and sunshine, and she works with the earth. The empath. So as this woman is growing into her life, she says, oh my goodness, I feel everything around me. How do I manage that? How do I keep my center when I'm feeling everything? And many feel that having empathic qualities is a kind of curse, but actually it's a blessing. It's a gift. The empath can lead because they are attuned to things that many other people miss. They're attuned to the emotional climate of a group. And how do we keep our center as an empath? We go into practices. We have the yogini, who, her verb is I practice. And just a shout out, this is Melinda Matsell. She created all the art on these cards, and she's a dear, dear sister. And then we made, another form was the mystica. In patriarchal times, women went into cloistered isolation as a way to commune with the divine, because or they became nuns because that was the best choice for them, rather than being married and being subservient and having a, dozen kids or whatever. They went in to serve the divine and commune. Or she became the shamana, the one who is connected with nature and is the bridge between humans and nature. And she doesn't live well in this civilized world. She wants to be out in the woods and bring that power of nature into your life. Or she's the dancer. And the dancer is a form of bringing to life the body. And if the dancer can dance into being the activist, she organizes. And as I say, 60% of activists are women. We are leading for change. We're organizing for change. If the activist is successful, she becomes the trailblazer. And here on this card are many other women that have been trailblazers in our lives before. We stand on their shoulders. And she may be the athlete, where she excels. Or she might be the quiet observer. She witnesses, but the one in a group who is the quiet observer, who is the witness, she has a wisdom that others who talk more you might miss. So ask the quiet one, what is her form of leadership? It comes from being the silent witness. Now we come to the middle of a woman's life. We come to the second of the three fates, the weaver. She entwines. And when the weaver comes in, life gets a little more complex. We're not working with a single tender thread. We're working with many threads, weaving them together. So this may be weaving masculine and feminine. A new archetype is the androgyne that isn't so gender identified, might be gender fluid or, changing gender, but incorporating both masculine and feminine as a form of leadership. Then she has more to work with. She becomes the creatrix. She is the artist. She is painting. She is singing. She is dancing. She is writing drama. She is creating and innovating, creating something from nothing. Or she may be the diva. Now the diva, we know, we think of Madonna or Taylor Swift or someone like that, but this was a form where women could embody the goddess and bring her to life in a lively, expressive, creative, sexy form, and it was permitted at a time when the goddess had been so terribly forgotten. So the diva is an archetype that many women might aspire to perform and to bring the goddess onto stage and awaken that in the audience. Or if we are the creatrix, we need a muse. The muse is a form of leadership, even though she might not be the one that writes the poem. She's the one that whispers in someone else's ear and inspires them. And the muse was definitely an archetype of leadership in ancient times. Then we have the alchemist. The alchemist could be the cook. She could be the one that throws the great party with just the right people. She's the one that just has the right combination and blend of things and creates a certain alchemy in her life that just makes everything work. She might be the maestra who teaches. This is one of my archetypes. She's a scholar, she studies, she teaches. She might be the scientist, she might be the researcher. Most people don't see her as an archetype of leadership, but it is. Or the oracle. Now, in ancient times, the oracle, for instance, the oracle at Delphi in Greece, was one of the most respected spiritual leaders in the ancient world. People traveled, kings and generals and, high muckety-mucks traveled hundreds and thousands of miles to commune with the oracle, whose voice would commune with the divine and speak, and wars were started or ended, or kings were crowned or disbarred, all according to what she said. And she was so highly respected, highly trained, serving as the mouthpiece of the gods. And of course, there's the priestess, who has long been forgotten but is making a comeback today, who combines alchemy and oracular, teachings and science and, all the different things. She combines them, the healer, and her purpose is to serve. And she might be the initiator. Some women recognize that they come into people's lives to initiate them into something when they are at a, I used to know before I settled into a relationship that men would come into my life when they were ripe for a change, and I would initiate them into something they hadn't known about before. And I found many women resonated with that. Maybe some of you do. The protectress, who defends and will protect you with a fierceness and protect the earth and protect the animals and protect the children. That is a powerful feminine archetype. The mother bear is a fierce protector. And the soft side of the protectress is the angel of mercy. She cares. She is the soft balm of forgiveness, of tenderness, of saying it's okay. When you're in pain, she brings easing of that pain. She brings a way out of it. She brings teaching. She comes with a gentleness, with her gentle feathers. And the healer, who restores. Some of you may recognize this person as Celestine Starr, who passed away a couple of years ago from our tribe, but she was a member of our tribe. And the healer is definitely more women tend to go into healing and find their way, find their calling in healing. The counselor is another form of the healer. The peacemaker, and we find that when women are part of a peacemaking process, the peace is more accepted by the people, it lasts longer, and women can serve an important role in making peace, but very rarely are they allowed to be on any boards talking about peace treaties. There's only been one that signed an international peace treaty, Miriam Colonna Ferrer from the Philippines, and has ever signed an international peace. We're just not allowed. But when it is, like in the troubles in Ireland, when the women got involved, they found peace between the Catholics and the Protestants. The stateswoman, this is new, that women are coming into politics and to recognize that she has a way of governing, and it may be a way that she governs differently than men, and to recognize that. The visionary, you might recognize yours truly here, who imagines and can take you to another realm. The empress, who presides rather than rules. And in my show, Deborah Giusti performed as the empress. Many of you know her. The benefactress, who gives money away when she comes into it. The mistress of play, lest we take ourselves too seriously, who laughs and brings lightness into it. The shepherdess, who leads from behind by gathering everyone together. Instead of leading from the front, she makes sure that that student has his homework, or everyone gets the meeting notes, or everyone gets the phone call to make sure they're included. And so she leads from behind. The crone, who is the third of the Maiden Mother crone, she leads from wisdom. She knows because she's lived it all. And then finally, the cutter, who completes. The spinner, the weaver, and the cutter. The cutter comes at the end of life, but the cutter could also be, we need to downsize. We need to bring this meeting to a close. We need to end this relationship. We need to end this product. Is the one that says, okay, we can't do everything indefinitely. There is a role to, and an honor to bringing something to completion and to conclusion. And so those are the 38 archetypes. And what I began doing is sharing them with people in circles where they would learn about different ones. They'd pick one, they'd read the I poem, and something would ignite within them. Then they started bringing their husbands and partners, and the men would read these archetypes, and something would ignite within them. One time someone picked the empath. I said, oh, why did you pick that card? And he said, oh, I'm one of those guys that's very out of touch with my feelings. He got halfway reading the poem, and he was bawling his eyes out. So it really awakened something in men as well. And then I took it into a performance where we performed 18 of these archetypes on stage with live music. And that was when I decided I wanted to take it into a movement with empowerment circles, leadership circles, and visionary circles. And we hold the cards to bringing in partnership. It's time for men to deepen and women to rise. And when I say that, the men I know are deep. I'm not saying that men aren't deep, but I'm talking about the male archetype in general needs to come down into the lower chakras, find the soul, find the feelings. Women need to rise. And then In partnership, we can save the world, working together. And so that is the end of my slides. And it's been
Anna,
such
first off, let's just come in for a quick sec. Beautiful. And while she and I are chatting and looking at our websites, I'd like to invite all of our audience members, pop in the chat box if one of those archetypes really spoke to you, either seeing yourself as one of those archetypes, or that's an archetype that you want to model yourself after. I love, by the way, that you had our beloved Celestine, my soul sister. And I love that you put yourself in there. That's really cool. That's really, really good. It was like, go on a day. So I didn't want to interrupt, but I just want to get people started on popping into the chat box. Which of those archetypes they spoke to you or you'd like to acknowledge? And then go ahead on a day.
I was going to say the group could pick one and I could read the I poem from that archetype.
Okay, so the first person who pops in the chat box, an archetype that really stuck to you. Okay, we're getting, oh boy, they flew in really fast. You're gonna have to do two. For Scotty Satori, to honor the men in the audience, Angle of Mercy, the Angel of Mercy.
Angel of Mercy.
Angel of Mercy. And then for Victoria Shaw, the Oracle. So one for the men, one for the male gendered, and one for the female gendered.
All right, I got them both. All right, so Angel of Mercy. Oh, I need to find my glasses here. Well, maybe I can do it without. I am the Angel of Mercy. My essence is compassion. No suffering is too great for my healing touch. No sin too egregious for my redemption. Through me, hope is renewed. I am the infinite grace that appears when your efforts have been exhausted, when your limits have been reached. When life is cruel, I bring gentleness. When life is hard, I bring softness. I come to you in your deepest suffering. I appear in the depths of your darkest night. I come to you when you have fallen to your knees in despair, for it is only then that your soul cracks open enough to receive me. I am the balm of forgiveness. I am the caress of tender care. My currency is kindness, my wings the feathers that give flight to your heavy heart. When you have lost your way, I carry you in my tender arms, asking nothing in return. I am here to demonstrate the infinite power of love.
Beautiful. And before you read the oracle, it just so happens that if we take a look at her website, which is sherisesmovement.com, there is the oracle second to the left, and there's the Angel of Mercy. So there are the two cards that we're looking at. And Scotty, may the Angel of Mercy bless you with maximum grace and radical healing. So we're going to go back so we can just see the cards. There's the oracle that's going to go next on the far left. Angel of Mercy, 3 over. And
this one's a little shorter, so.
Okay, let's hear what the oracle has.
I am the oracle. I am the voice of truth, the mouthpiece of the gods. I do not belong to myself, but to those I serve. I am priestess to Apollo, to Rhea, to Gaia. I am prophetess at the oracle at Delphi, the Aquashani of India, whose voice is the sky. I am the Babalawa of the Yoruba. I am the voice of the divine. Do not seek me unless you are willing to hear the truth. Do not take my words if you are not willing to abide by them. Do not implore my guidance if you know not for what you are seeking. I am the gateway to wisdom, the voice of truth rattling within your soul. My answers are already written within you. I am the oracle. I know your future. Consult me if you dare. I am the gateway to your destiny.
Wow. Beautiful. Well, we've already gone way over, but it was
I'm
so
afraid we have.
fascinating. So I'm going to go to a couple of websites actually. I think the main one to go to today is is She
She Rises
Rises.
movement.
Yeah, the She Rises movement. Here it is. Are we seeing that? Um,
Yes,
it's
we are.
sherisesmovement.com. And I encourage all of you, go ahead and if you scroll down a little bit, and then you can see all of the different cards that she introduced us to. We're going to have a Q&A time. So, and already a lot of you put into the chat box who you related to. But go back, take a look, and you can still put in who you're relating to, at least for the ones that are here in her website. Um, and then overall, to find all things on A Day of Judith, I encourage you to go to, I guess what we would say is her main website. And it's pretty easy to remember. This one is her name, AnadeaJudith.com. And that's where you can find all things Anadea, including all of her books. And it's amazing. I remember when we had you on the show talking about this book, Goddess. And as part of our dear friend Ariel Patricia's Common Sentience Group series, and amazing books that she's created. You are truly a treasure on A Day Out. And thank you so much
Thank you
for
so
being with
much,
us.
Scott. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Thanks everybody for listening.
Also, one last comment that did come in. I had thought the same thing, and then Karen S. also said it. Thank you for including so many women of color in the cards. I really appreciate that, including the first two cards. So that was good call. Thank you.
We tried to have a little of everything, Asian and, all sorts of, indigenous. We tried to have at least some of everything.
Hispanic I saw in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much. All right. Well, we've got a lot of amazing women with us tonight. And it's my pleasure to introduce you to Cassandra Viten. Now, some of you saw her when we were coming to you live from her home, just outside Santa Fe, New Mexico. And this is an amazing woman. She has quite the history. And I'm just going to read a little bit of it. She's a clinical professor and director of the Center for Mindfulness at the Centers for Integrative Health in the Department of Family Medicine at UC San Diego. She's also director of research at the Arthur C. Clarke Center for Human Imagination and clinical psychology director of the Psychedelics and Health Research Initiative at UCSD, University of California in San Diego. She works in mental health. She's a senior fellow at the Institute of Noetic Sciences, where she served as president for 6 years. Her research has focused on spirituality and health, transformative experiences and practices, the development of mindfulness-based interventions for emotional well-being, and development of media technologies to inspire awe. I love what I'm reading. It's a lot. And I think we're going to talk a little bit about all of that. And she's also the author of the forthcoming book, Imagine That: How to Transform How You Think, Feel, and Live with the Science of Imagination. So welcome back to the Awakening World, and it's
Thank
good to have you with
you.
us.
It's so good to see everybody. Thank you so much for having me. And Anadea, it's wonderful to see you. I was so glad that we were going to see each other. And I'm really looking forward to, I think we're going to do some experientials in our imagination later in the evening. So I'm so excited about that.
I'm on for it.
Great. Boy, I have so many questions for you because you have such a wide spectrum of experience. But let's start with imagination. And I know that Albert Einstein spoke so much about imagination. So, what are some tools you can offer to our audience of how to open up and cultivate our imagination?
Well, gosh, first of all, it's been so amazing to be able to spend so much of my career investigating the inner world. And my purpose in life is to shift people's perspectives so that they can see new possibilities that allow them to be kinder to themselves, others, and the planet. And so that's been a through line among all of my different chapters and all the different hats I wear. Now at UC San Diego, it's been fantastic to be able to work at this trifecta of mindfulness meditation, imagination, and psychedelics. And so I think that what I found when I was a young person, and it's continued throughout my life, but especially in my teenage years, is I was completely overwhelmed with the suffering of the world, with the injustices that I saw around me. I didn't seem to have the same kind of brick wall barrier that other people could raise when they were encountering things that didn't make any sense. And then I had some internal feelings of depression and anxiety coming from genetics, coming from family, coming from who knows, all of the pain in the world. And so I reached a pretty dark place in my teenage life. And the one thing that really got me through, other than my amazing family, of course, was that I knew that there was a world that was beyond what we could see in our physical perception. I knew that there was something very, very important happening under the surface of what we could see. And I was fascinated by trying to figure out what that was. And my first introduction to it was really science fiction and fantasy. So reading things like Lord of the Rings and Narnia and A Wrinkle in Time, and then Star Wars and Star Trek and The Twilight Zone. And, all of these things, you can think of them as a little bit frivolous, right? They're just fiction. Why would that matter? But what I've learned, and especially in the past several years when I've been studying, investigating imagination so deeply, is that some truths can only be found in fiction. And of course, this is true. We know this from mythology. We know this from almost every major spiritual tradition and spiritual teacher in the world has known that you can't just tell people things. You have to put it in the form of a parable. You have to put it in the form of a story. And so now neuroscience is beginning to catch up with what wisdom traditions have known for a long time. There's fascinating studies where they look at people's brains as there's a teacher or a speaker, and then there's an audience, and they have people hooked up in the audience to EEG, and then they have people, the speaker hooked up to EEG. And if the speaker is delivering information in a factual way, people's brain lights up in sort of the learning and the error detection level. So they're just like, do I believe it? Do I not believe it? Do I believe it? Do I not believe it? But when the speaker begins to tell a story, the audience's brain begins to synchronize with the brain of the speaker. And so one of the things that I found most fascinating is that the brain distinguishes a lot less than we might think between imagined content and real experiences. And so when we imagine seeing something, our visual cortex is lighting up. When we imagine hearing something, our auditory cortex is lighting up. When we imagine moving, our motor cortex is lighting up. And so what you imagine every day, especially if it's repeated, and the stories that you tell yourself and the stories you expose yourself to, the people around you and the language and the stories they use, they have a very real impact on your biology, your brain, the function and structure, the neurotransmitters that are released, the cortisol or the oxytocin that's going through your body, your nervous system. And so it matters. And at Institute of Noetic Sciences, we used to always say consciousness matters. Consciousness matters. What you believe, what you imagine, what you intend, the stories that you tell matter. And so it's time for us all to tell a new story for ourselves, tell a new story for our community, tell a new story for our planet. And to recognize that those stories are very real. The world of imagination is a real world. It follows different rules than the physical, linear, logical world, but it has truths that cannot be found in that physical, linear, logical world. And it's really about bringing both of those together and being able to navigate between the world of imagination and the world of form. That navigation is what we call creativity.
Wow. Can you give an example since you've worked with people and had transformational experiences? What's an example of something you've observed where someone has really shifted a big part of their life, or even in your own life, through changing their story?
I mean, I can tell a dozen stories, but one of the studies we're doing at the Center for Psychedelic Research at UC San Diego is we're doing psilocybin treatment with people who have amputations. So they've lost a limb and they're experiencing phantom limb pain. So they're feeling sometimes excruciating pain in the limb that's missing. And so we know that that pain is not happening physiologically at the site. It's mostly happening in the brain. The brain is misinterpreting, or probably accurately interpreting, like, yeah, it'd be pretty dramatic if you look down and there's no leg. Your brain is like, whoa, bad news. But even after it's healed, the brain is still activating the pain receptors. And so there was a National Geographic explorer named Albert Lynn, who was sort of patient zero in our study. He's someone who's traveled the whole world, jungles and mountains, and just this incredible guy. He got into a car accident, unfortunately, and lost one of his legs. And he was experiencing this pain in the missing limb. And someone taught him how to hold a mirror up to the existing limb, and it kind of tricks the brain into thinking that the missing limb is still there by looking at the mirror image. But it only happens when they're looking at it. It kind of goes away if you remove the mirror. So what he did was went out to the desert, took psilocybin on his own, and did mirror box therapy throughout the psilocybin journey when his default mode network was suppressed and there was this massive amount of brain plasticity. And he's never had phantom limb pain since then. Now, partly biological, probably, but what he says is I changed my story about the pain. The story of the pain changed. So that's one of so many examples of people who have had profound experiences in the territory of imagination. They meet archetypes, like Anadea was saying. They meet someone important. And one of the exercises that we do with people is we'll take them on a journey to meet their future self.
Mm.
And this is one possible future self. This is a possible future self that embodies the qualities that you hope that you will embody, that has developed in the ways that you hope you will develop, that has grown in the ways that you hope you will grow. And so we do get people into an altered state of consciousness through breathing techniques or through drumming, all kinds of ways to do this. And then they visit the future self, show up at that person's door, and I met my future self. And I said, opened the door, and Scott, you'll laugh, the future self was living in an adobe house in New Mexico, which, was always a dream of mine. And for those of you who don't know, I in fact now do live in an adobe house in New Mexico 20 years later. But she was exuding this peace and contentment and authenticity and genuineness and earthiness and joy in life. And I got to ask her a lot of questions about what were the most important things she did to get to where she was and what did she want me to know. And this future self is very loving too. It's kind of like a cheerleader for you, an ally for you, and also kind of a golf caddy in the sense of, if you make a relationship with your future self, it's like, no, you don't want to go that way. There's a sand trap that way. Bad idea. Use a different club, sister. This is not the club you want to be using. And so this relationship with a future self inside of your imagination can become quite an amazing resource for you as you move forward into the world.
I love that you're talking about that. I did not expect that we would go in this direction, but we got to go down it for a minute. About 30 years ago, to be honest, I was in Maui, and I was on a low dose of psychedelics. And I looked into the mirror and I saw my future self. And he and I had this wonderful conversation. And when I've been in hard times since then, that conversation, because he was Scott, wait till you see how
Right.
it unfolds. It's so good. Even though there's going to be hard stuff, it's so good.
Yeah.
And it was just emblazoned in my consciousness and my brain. And that's become a touchstone that I've been able to use as an anchor, if you will, when I'm going through hard times.
Mm.
So, and I don't think I've ever told that story, certainly not publicly. So thank you for that work. And I'm just curious, uh, are there ways that people can access their future self without coming to San Diego and working with you? Although that would also be wonderful.
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, I have the new book coming out that describes a lot of these practices. And one thing that's important to know is that there are many different types of imagination. We tend to think about visualizing as the one form of imagination, like visualization is almost used as a synonym to imagination. But there's also social and emotional imagination. Some people don't really picture things very clearly. They don't have a vivid, detailed imagination. They see things more kind of blurry or a little bit boxy or broad strokes. Some people have incredibly vivid imaginations, but often those people will have a more powerful social and emotional imagination. They can imagine how other people might feel. They can imagine how something would impact someone else, or when that person walks in the door, I know how they're going to feel. You know, that emotional, social, interactive with others' imagination. And so you might be one of those people, even if you're not a great visualizer. And then there's cognitive narrative imagination. Sometimes people really do it more in words than they do it in pictures or feelings. There's somatic imagination, there's taste imagination, gustatory imagination. You think like chefs are probably pretty good gustatory imaginers. So we identified about 65 different types of imagination. So we call it the neurodiversity of imagination. And so one thing you can do is go to our website at imagination.ucsd.edu/profile, and you can take a quiz. And first of all, you'll become a citizen science and help us understand more about people's imaginations and how they work. But you'll also get a feedback on your imagination, and you'll get your sort of imagination type. And then you can look into it and say, well, maybe I want to do some things that are training my imagination to be more vivid or to be more detailed or to be more social and emotional. Or you might just say, okay, if that's the type of imaginer I am, I'm just going to leverage my strengths because, I've got some strengths.
So
So I
I've,
encourage everybody to take that. Yeah, it's up on the screen,
I,
imagination.ucsd.edu/profile.
So I'm going to leave it up for a minute so that all the people watching on Facebook can take a screenshot. Well, actually, everybody can take a screenshot, but I will also put it in the chat box right now for everybody. Take the imagination profile. I'm typing that. I'm putting this into our thing. And where do we actually go to click to take
You scroll down to the bottom, and it'll have a little button. Yep, right there.
start? There it is. Okay.
That's it. So then it'll start to ask you lots of questions about your imagination, and we'd love for you all to do that. The other thing I think I want to bring up is that I've come to see imagination as a kind of very important interstitial realm between the big C consciousness, the interconnected world, the world of the spirits, the world of whatever you use for it, God, whatever your word for the universe is, that our imaginations are the the territory in which we can most easily connect with that world, as opposed to the linear, logical, judging, thinking, evaluating, critical mind. And so I was in Anza Borrego, if I'm allowed to share my screen. Let's see. Yeah, I think
Yes,
I
you are. You can.
Great. So I was in the Anza Borrego Desert when I started writing this book on imagination, and I was seeing a view very much like this one, and I stopped and was very quiet and said, okay, what does the world need to know about imagination? Because I felt kind of the spirits very present there. And they immediately said, tell them it's the place we can most easily talk to them.
Mm.
Tell humanity that their imagination is the place where we can most easily talk to them. Now, this is not new. I mean, Jung knew this, right? Anadea knew this. Many, many, many people have known that traveling, and the shamanic world has known this. The indigenous people have known this forever, that traveling into the world, the territory of imagination, is the place where you can bring back wisdom and knowledge. And in fact, it's probably where we get new ideas. So one way I like to think about it is if there's a water table underground that represents all potential, every single possibility, known and unknown. If you were to dip into that well using your imagination and bring out of it an idea that's when you begin to create something. But imagination is a lot more uncertain, and um, it works by different rules than this reality. And so it speaks a different language. It has a different kind of, it doesn't care about time. It can go into the future and go into the past. It doesn't care about space. It can go anywhere on the planet. It doesn't really care about scale. So you might come back with an idea to form a nonprofit that feeds tens of thousands of people, or you might come back with an idea for your garden. Imagination is like, those are both equally important. Those are both equally important. And so to learn the language of imagination is one of the things you can do. And it is a way that you can access information and energy that are not limited by conventional notions of space and time. And so I'd love to have people talk about that. Like, what has your imagination revealed to you? Has there been times in your life where the imaginative world is something that you could visit and bring back something that was deeply important for you, but also maybe something that helps community and humanity and the planet?
Wow. Um, I'm going to ask you the same question. When's an example when you did that, maybe with yourself, or an example of somebody you worked with?
Well, there are a lot of examples from other people. So one is, you mentioned Einstein. Einstein, when he was thinking about the beginnings of relativity theory, he did it all in his imagination. He pictured himself running by a beam of light and realized, oh, if I were to run as fast as light, this is what might happen. It wasn't like he was doing all calculations. He was feeling it, sensing it. So that's amazing. Thomas Edison, who we all know invented so many different things, said, I never really invented anything. I was a needle on a phonograph. And what he
Wow.
said is he would just work on opening himself to the vast array of possibilities, knowing that he needed to get into a sort of hypnagogic state between waking and sleeping. And some of those early folks would even, I think it was him or maybe it was Benjamin Franklin, who would sit in a chair and hold two brass or steel spheres in his hand. And he'd wait until he was about to fall asleep, and then he'd drop the spheres when he fell asleep, and that would wake him up because he wanted to catch the ideas he was having between waking and sleeping.
Oh, wow. Another example of that is Bob Dylan. When someone asked, how do you write so many songs? He says, I don't write them. I just write them down.
I love that. That's a great one.
Isn't that a
Yes,
good one?
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh. All right, now your book comes out actually August 11th.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm going to actually bring up for a minute, and I'm going to put this into the chat box, but there's a really wonderful, oh, well, here, let me pull it up and you guys will see what I'm talking about. I'm excited about this. I got this from when you emailed me. So here's her book. It's called Imagine That, Transform How You Think, Feel, and Live with the Science of Imagination. What's wonderful is we, a few weeks ago, had a show with Dr. Larry on the
Mm,
science of creating miracles.
mm,
Here's the science of imagination. And I bet there's a
mm.
lot of dovetails between those two.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. The book is written in three sections, and the first is the science of imagination. The second is the power of imagination. giving specific practices for how you can train your imagination. And then the third is the magic of imagination, where we talk about shamanism and psychedelics and religious imagination and consciousness.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to put this into the chat box so people can check it out. And what's the best way for people to pre-order your book?
You can go to CassandraVeaton.com
Okay,
if you want to do it.
actually, I've got that ready to pull up. So let me pull that
Yeah,
up.
yeah, it's right on the
Let's
top
do that.
page.
All
And
right.
this is the link for what it looks like so you can recognize it. It's awesome with the hot air balloons have always been so inspirational to me. And
I
now that
think
I'm in New Mexico, they're even more so.
um, here it is. There it is. So when you go to her website, it's her name. I'm going to spell it Cassandra, Cassandra, Cassandra. And then her last name is Vieten, Vieten.com. And when you go there, there's the book. And you can pre-order through Amazon, which is what
Mhm.
I'll do. I'm going to do that right now. Nice and easy. There it is. I'm going to pre-order with one click. I love that.
Aw, thanks, Scott.
Absolutely. Um, let's see, where's my card here? And it's so easy when Amazon makes it very easy, which I appreciate, except
Mm.
for when oh, how come it's not in the cart? Hmm. Well, I'll go back and I'll figure that out.
All right.
Um, but please stick around. I've
Mhm.
noticed a lot of comments have come into the chat box. You might want to check that out. And
Mhm.
then, of course, we're going to have a wonderful roundtable Q&A. But we still have more wonderful wise women to meet. Tonight's going to be a wonderful and a slightly long show. Maybe have some green tea. And thank you, Cassandra, so much.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Whew. Wow. Well, you've heard us referencing It's the Day Out of Time. And that's we did some of you that are old timers will remember we did an entire show. I think it was our first or second year of Saturday Night Alive for the Global Peace Tribe. We did an entire show on the Day Out of Time. And it was really a powerful show, really, really good. And so it's something I've been aware of going all the way back. And I am really grateful that Rihanna Skywalker is with us. And she, of course, has been on the show before. She was on fairly recently. And she is my go-to person for all things Mayan calendar, mystical, astrological. Um, I just find she brings a wonderful wisdom to it. She also creates beautiful, beautiful cards. And she also has an incredible voice. And I could listen to her reading the phone book, and it would be interesting to me. So, welcome, Rihanna, back to the Awakening World. And
Wonderful
tell
to be
us,
here.
and what wonderful, wise women you are in company with
What
tonight.
an incredible beginning. And Anna Dia, I bought your books many years ago, very much an instigator on my path. I've loved your work, and I was delighted when I heard that you were going to be on tonight. So yes,
Um,
all very interesting and very apropos with the Mayan New Year that we will go into tomorrow. But before I go there, I'll just remind everyone that it is the day out of time and what that means. It just means New Year, and it just means that we step out of the time construct that we're in, that enslaves us a little bit, doesn't it, into this reality. The day out of time is always in the kin of the signal kin, which I am one of those kin. And those archetypes are Skywalker, my own, White Mirror, Red Skywalker, White Mirror, Blue Knight, and Yellow Star. And today is Yellow Resonant Star. And so those archetypes are very ethereal. They sort of represent going beyond the mundane, So going into the blue night, which is the dream field and the mystery, and Skywalker is the priestess, which is the oracle, which is the bridge between heaven and earth, and Mirror is seeking the truth and clarity of a higher order, a spiritual order, and then Yellow Star, hence why I'm always wearing the color of the day to keep it tuned in with it. Yellow Star represents beauty and the arts, because that is another manifestation of truth. It's the beautiful plan, it's the sacred geometry of life. And so we were invited today to awaken the consciousness, to attune to the consciousness of the artist, which kind of nicely ties into the conversation about imagination. And I'll go into that a little bit. I just looked at the etymology, because I'm always fascinated about etymology of things. So that we are the artists of our lives. That's one of the mantras of this cosmology that Jose brought through, which is an amazing channeling, I think. I've worked with this system for over 26 years, and I melded it into my astrological studies of other systems, and I work with them all together. And I fell in love with it very deeply because, as it turned out, I have an ancestor who's one of the first Mayanists. So I feel like I'm channeling him, continuing to decode the glyphs. And how I've come to see this calendar is a cipher, a tool for us to move through the veils, kind of what the Day Out of Time is asking us to do, to sort of move out of this construct and go into base or original reality, go into the divine blueprints and recharge ourselves there. I saw someone in the comments mention that it was about forgiveness, and yes, it was kind of like other indigenous cultures, and their new year is always about letting go and emptying out for the newness that was going to come, which might involve fasting and meditation and reflecting on what the year has been and any kind of atonements, etc., that need to be made. So this was a time of celebration, but also contemplation so that we could listen to the star beings that the kin of the signal kin connect us to, so that we could receive the message of spirit. And in particular, this Day Out of Time, we are currently in the wave, which is a 13-day cycle of white wind, which is carrying the archetype of the year that we're going into tomorrow. So we're going into a year which is all about receiving, channeling, listening to, in the waters of our being, in the feminine, being receptive to spirit, great spirit. So today was about becoming the consciousness of art and beauty, and remembering that we are the creators of our reality with our imagination. We are the imagination of ourselves, or the dream of ourselves. I kind of mix dream and imagination interchangeably together, because that is something that is unique to us. I believe this forward projection of imagination that we have, although I would like to posture the idea that perhaps our imagination is merely remembering other timelines that all concurrently exist at this time, because we are multidimensional beings. So I think that's something that's encoded into this calendar, into this cosmology. So tomorrow we will go into Red Galactic Moon, which is a fascinating time to be going into at this time, I believe, and very beautifully connects with Anadea's presentation with those amazing female archetypes, feminine archetypes, because red moon represents the divine feminine, universal water, the feminine principle, the yin, receptivity, sensitivity, which is basically a heightened state of receptivity. And this is something that has definitely been missing in our overly yang world. And we have lost that sense of what exactly is the power of the feminine. And the galactic tone is the 8th tone. So we're in the 8th year of a spiritual cycle that we began in 2019, which is crazy to think that that was 8 years ago, but yes, we're going into the 8th year of this process, which is an integration point. It's the quality of the galactic is about integrating within the whole and coming to an inner strength based on the journey so far, because the next frequency we go into is solar, which is changing direction. So we need to really integrate everything that's happened since 2019 on our journey. And I'll remind everyone that we are in these, everything is a fractal, and there are these cycles of time, and there's micro cycles and macro cycles, and one of the cycles in between, we're in 13-year chapters. We went into a 13-year chapter in 2017 on January 1st, which also aligns with Sirius. And the reason why it is New Year is because we are currently in effectively a Sirius Cazimi, because Sirius and the Sun are together at the dawn of day on the eastern horizon. So we're receiving the codes from our spiritual sun. But January 1st is also connected to Sirius. It just so happens to be in opposition, which is kind of interesting. And it's Sirius in the zenith at midnight when we're partying and not connecting to our spiritual sun, a kind of inversion of this reality. So January 1st, 2017, we went into the white mirror years, which is, I call, the age of truth, which is a time of revelations, and that's why we have been in a revelation of the method. Also a spiritual age. There are two concurrent spiritual ages, the age of truth and then the age of wisdom 2019, which we're currently going into the 8th year of. And so this is going to be an integration point. And I think it's kind of fascinating that on that journey of integration of wisdom, we're having to empower our ability to receive and be able to be open to spirit, filling our cup. So we have to empty our cup. And that includes our imagination, because our imagination has been somewhat hijacked by the bombardment of spirit imagery that we have. If you can imagine, before we had these screens and books and anything, and we'd be out in nature, we'd have a completely different palette of imagination. But now we have so many images that have been fed to us, and a lot of those images and stories have agendas to separate us from our power, and we've been filled by things that we haven't been choosing selectively to be filled by, which includes the noise of the world. And so this yin quality of red moon is really going to be an interesting one. And it's interesting looking back at Anadea's presentation and talking about leadership, and it's kind of interesting to feel into how can we be receptive and lead from receptivity to the greater picture, because that galactic energy is receiving the greater picture, how we fit into everything. So we have all of our beautiful animals here, and the fauna and flora. I was just at the hummingbird festival today, so fallen in love with hummingbirds. we fit into everything, and yet we have felt very separate from everything. And so it's this integration and receiving our place within the whole, and then being able, leading, I feel, is too yang. I think we might have to find another word. We might have to imagine another word for how it is we are going to move forward, because we are in, astrologically, totally unprecedented times, because we didn't know these planets when these positions might have been in place before, but I don't think they have been in place before. So since November last year, and taking us all the way through to today, in fact, but it will activate on the 12th with the eclipse, we have all of the major planets have moved into new positions, and the planet of imagination, Neptune, has gone back to 0 to go into Aries with Saturn. So the restructuring of our imagination, the restructuring of the dream field is there. And Uranus has gone into Gemini, which is an explosion of ideas. And we have all of these positions that have created a new template. And for us to be able to receive the energy that wants to come through this new template, I think the red moon is talking about purification. It's the water of cleansing and emptying out our cup so that we could receive something new. And what are we receiving? Because I talk about this as being a journey of remembrance. We are in the dream of forgetfulness, and we are on the journey of remembrance. And memory is water and light. Mem is water and Ori is light. And so it's in the water that the memory is held. We had that wonderful man, Dr. Emoto, who brought that into our attention, and so many wonderful people. Veda Austin is doing some wonderful work with water. And science has shown that water has instantaneous communication across time and space. And so the water is carrying the memories. And in this reality, because everything is a fractal, women are carrying the memories. And there's a lot of memories that we are holding that are not so great, because we were not able to emotionally process these feelings, and there was certainly no framework given to us to do that, because we lost it when this new hijacked reality took hold, this time construct that took us out of natural time, which the calendar is about, into man-made time, which was about politics and power, and divorced from nature, and creating all sorts of disconnects for us. And so there's been a lot that's been lost, but it is coming back, and we have access to it because we are still in the waters of the womb of the Divine Mother in this reality. And so it's all around us and within us, but we are just having to shift our consciousness into the awareness of what is already there by slipping through the veils, and having a deeper look at what is there, and being able to remember the feminine arts of releasing energy, moving energy out of matter, our physical body, by having the emotional intelligence, which is a foundational piece to having the spiritual intelligence, because it's through feeling that we really know. There's a lot that we think we know in our mind because we have a lot of information in the information age, but how can we discern if we can't feel? And how can we feel clearly if we're still carrying a lot of unprocessed feelings? So I feel like the year that we're going into is going to be a lot about remembering what this feminine quality is, restoring the feminine, women coming together to remember, just being together, because we communicate through osmosis, through the water in our body, which is why women would be gathering. And I loved that Anadea was creating these movements to gather and come together, and just be with each other and find ways to move and restructure the water in our body to be in an open state, to be receptive to Great Spirit who wants to commune with us. And this goes back a long way. Women were always seen as the conduit between matter and spirit. Obviously, we birth life into this reality, and we are remembering that we are the conduit, even though religion seems to have taken the feminine out and we took the Divine Mother out, but it's all got to come back, because we're in this age of truth and the age of wisdom. We have to reclaim the wisdom of who we are and what this reality is and why we're here, and all of it could easily align in magical ways beyond our imagination, which is why I have a fascination with the dream field and dark room retreats, where we could allow consciousness to go beyond and alight upon the memories from the ancient elders from the future, of which the signal kin are. So this is an exciting time to shift gears from yang into yin. We've been in a seed year, so there's been this sort of pressure of something new is emerging, and now it's ready to be watered with this feminine energy, this energy of receptivity, and to continue as we water, just as we would water plants, as Emoto showed us that it's really important how we structure the water that we give to those plants. So all of our creations, Spirit is still talking to us about how that should be guided into materialization, and we are the conduits. And I don't want to exclude the males, because obviously we are all masculine and feminine. We're all feminine when we're in our spiritual sense. Osho was talking about in order to be spiritual, you have to be feminine, because otherwise you cannot receive the divine. So it's really about this quality of the feminine and understanding it as a fundamental of our reality, that there are these movements of day and night, yin and yang, action and rest, inward and outward, and we've lost balance. So it's time to integrate the power of the feminine and the yin principle, and then receive the channeling from Spirit and be the conduit, so that what was seeded, already seeded, can emerge, because this new template, new cosmic template, is primed for a new reality, and we are the conduits of it. And we came to this time because obviously we're here for the worst of times and the best of times.
Wow. You do such a beautiful job of describing what's happening, and thank you. Do you have any tips for how we should handle the next 24 hours or the rest of the weekend? Tips for how to get the most from this transition into a new Mayan year?
Yes, I would just tune into what can I let go of? What can I release and empty out? What beliefs, what projections on the future, including all the negative ones, of course, that we have, because we're worried about everything, because we live in a world that's just made us worried about everything. What if we could just let go of all of that and just listen to Spirit move us and feel what is true, what is true when we're not plugged into all of the stories that we have been given, and when we're just in our body and we're with spirit, breathing and connecting to how we feel and recognizing what feelings perhaps are old ones and allowing them to move through, to see what new feelings, a new felt sense might come in. And I'm sure that they would have little packets of imagination with them.
Beautiful. Susan Bloomquist writes, thank you, Rihanna, for weaving this vision for us to imagine a brighter, more feminine world. And beautifully stated. And thank you again, Trina Joy, for putting into the chat box a little bit about July 25th. Oh yeah, beautiful. So there's beautiful comments coming in. And Rihanna, we're going to go to your website. We're going to learn all about your offerings. And her website is MayanMystic.com. MayanMystic.com. She is an astro-intuitive oracle. And I strongly encourage you to get a reading from her. You can also, by going to her website, you can download a free Mayan astrology guide. And here are some of her offerings. Tell us about what an astro-intuitive soul reading looks like, or how does one experience that? What happens?
It's a deep dive with lots of modalities blended together, because I noticed that there was a repeating pattern. I'm very much about pattern recognition. I was an architectural designer, and I love to see how things are weaved together. So my understanding of it is that we designed our soul blueprints ourselves, and we've come in to incarnate through them. So when we look at these, we can remember who we are and what we came to do. So I kind of blend them together, and each one kind of has a different perspective, as they're kind of a multi-dimensional drawing of you, with different keys for you, for your life, and for this moment in time, so we can orientate. Because that's another maybe a negative factor of our imagination, is we're always like maybe far ahead or in the past and out of time, funnily enough. So when we look at the charts, we can kind of orientate like, oh, this is what the cosmic window is offering me now. And if I focus on that, I can get into the flow and not be trying to swim against the flow. So I can look at all of that and your transits and give you my interpretation and guidance. And I get a lot of downloads because I use the charts as a kind of key. Once you've asked me to look, then I kind of open into your Akash and get lots of downloads from ancestors and other things for you. And it's really beautiful. It formed the foundation of my self-mastery mentoring that I've been doing, although I've pulled back from that now because I'm writing and developing an app, and I'll be developing a way to teach Mayan astrology, to get some more Mayan astrologers out there, and also something that is going to be a bit like a cross between the dream spell and family constellation. It's Dream Spell Constellations. And so that'll be coming soon, not this year, obviously, next year and the year after, as we get momentum for bigger events. So I've been working one-to-one with people, but now I'm going to move into doing bigger groups to see what comes through when we constellate the waves and bring the information through, which has always been very profound.
Beautiful. Well, when you're ready for that, we definitely want to have you back on the show. But for now, I definitely want to encourage people while you can, while she's still doing personal readings, she's wonderful to work with. And she also does mentoring. And of course, I heard you say that you're really wanting to support more people to learn how to teach Mayan astrology. I see one more thing here, which is sacred embodiment breath work. Now, can people do that on Zoom with you, or is it in person only?
Yes, I have been doing that on Zoom. It is kind of formed the basis. I mean, on my journey, I went through my Tantra and Qigong, and it's been my particular path has been one of embodiment, coming into the temple within in order to connect. So I work with people to do that. So breath work is, and we're in the wave of white wind, which is all about the breath. And I was writing today about basically our human life is this breathing in and out. We're sort of in the human world and in the spiritual world, and it's a breath in, and we have to remember that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and breath work is a wonderful modality for that. So that would be some of the work that I did when I had one-on-one retreats here, but I sometimes still do that online on Zoom, but that's when I'm working with people and mentoring them.
Okay, beautiful. So again, to find all these things, go to mayanmystic.com. You can read more about it, and then just click contact me, and you can reach her that way. And for those of us in the Zoom room, I have put her email address in there, and you can directly email her. Please stick around. I imagine there's going to be some questions for you. And thank you so much.
Always lovely to be here. And this is a special night. And we talked about this, and I said, it's got to be all women, because it's really important that we get into the female power and empowerment and all things feminine.
It's true. This show did start with you and I deciding to do something on the day out of time. She did say, got to be all women. Are you happy? Have I delivered? Are you happy with the women?
Amazingly. It's wonderful. And we have more.
And we have two more. So, all right. Thank you so much, Rihanna.
Thank you.
Well, to integrate all this goodness, we are going to take a break for a moment to the male-gendered beloved, our wonderful Omar Shark. See, he's an angel also. Oh, okay.
I believe in true love. It's opened up my heart, leading me, leading you to new beginnings. And I believe in the one love that takes you by the hand, and you hear in a whisper of something to show you. Each day a new creation, a golden path before us. Our angel wings, they open and soar us to new heights of understanding. La bum ba dum ba dum dum ba da dum ba da dum ba dum da da dum ba da dum ba da dum. And I believe in the one voice, the spirit of our land, blowing me, blowing you home to forever. And I perceive, not so far away, a world that breathes as one. So I live for this day and no more tomorrows. A golden path before us, our angel wings, they open and soar us to new Each day a new creation, a golden path before us. Our angel wings, they open and soar us to new heights of understanding.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And Shoshana, it's amazing how your pupster, I mean, is that a real dog or is it a toy dog? It's like she's just like really
She
stays with
gets in
you.
this zone and just melts every time anything with consciousness is coming on Zoom. She's just blissed out with us.
Beautiful to watch everybody dancing, including, of course, dog lover that I am. Shoshana, what's the name of your pupster?
This one is Krista.
Krista. All right. Well,
Have a
thank you, Krista, for bringing the animal kingdom into our awakening world. All right. Well, get ready because we've had all this wisdom come our way, but now we have a chance to really come into our bodies. Remember, we were hearing how it's all about really being embodied. And to help us with that is someone who's been on the show several times. She's definitely a most beloved teacher, author, guide. And of course, I'm talking about Linda Starr-Wolf. Welcome back to the show, Linda.
Can you hear me okay?
I sure can. And let me tell a few people about you that may not know you. You know, we're going out to about 200 Facebook groups and pages today. So there's always a lot of people that are like, what is this show? And they get hooked in. So for those of you who don't know her, Linda Starr-Wolf, PhD, has been a shamanic visionary teacher and guide to thousands of people over the past 4 decades. She began her career as a mental health therapist back in the 70s, later became an addictions specialist in the 80s, and for more than 30 years, she's been a nationally certified alcohol and drug counselor. Very much inspired by progressive spiritual teachers from around the world, including Ram Dass, Leonard Orr, Stanislav Grof, all of our friends, Jacqueline Small, and then she started doing breathwork training in the 1990s. We're going to learn a little bit more about her Wolf Clan teachings. And she has a whole background, including being a spiritual granddaughter and lineage carrier. And that's when she adopted Starr-Wolf as her name. And this came from one of her teachers, Twyla Nietzsche, the beloved Seneca Wolf Clan grandmother. Linda has written 13 books, 13 shamanic psycho-spiritual books. And she is the creator of Shamanic Breathwork, which we could get a little homeopathic taste of today. And you're leaving for Portugal in just a couple of days. Wow. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you for the invitation. And first, I just want to say how much I love you and just the wonderful gift that you give to this world and the wonderful people you bring on. I was in the middle of, our house is turned upside down. Our retreat center here is turned upside down because we've got like 50 crates headed to Portugal. It's like, oh, I can't let go of the Venus statue. Oh, I can't let go of the 6-foot Isis statue. Or literally, when we get there, we've got to unload our whole retreat center into a new place that we're calling Fortuna, for the goddess of, as you'll know, of posterity and all the good things that we want, the good fortune, and that this earth deserves, and the people here, the creatures and that sort of thing. So we've named our new place Fortuna Villa. And
Wow.
I'm planning on you coming, Scott, for a visit and for us to broadcast from there. And of course, you'll have to bring Amashar
Of
and
course.
and that sort of thing. But anyway, so I'm just blown away from the group today. I thought earlier, oh gosh, I really want to do this, but I'm tired. We've been packing. It's been crazy. And then I came on and heard everybody, and I was so inspired. But every person just inspired me more and more and more. So what a lineup of masterful souls. So thank you. And
Yeah.
thank you, Scott, for that. Just that you are that, you're really the magician. You really are the magician. You just somehow pull out the best, I think, out of all of us. So thank you. Thank you.
Oh, well, I appreciate the acknowledgement. And it is really wonderful to just have, I'm such a strong believer in the rise of the divine feminine. And it's actually interesting because on Wednesday night, a few nights ago, our show was our annual Magdalene Feast. July 22nd is the Magdalene Feast Day. So we had all these wonderful women that were presenters on the show talking about the Magdalene energy and what that's meant to them. So this is really kind of like carrying through. It's like a whole week and then leading to the day out of time and the start of a new Mayan year. And astrologically, as Rihanna pointed out to us, it's an incredible time. And it's really wonderful that we as a community can all come together and kind of ride together cosmically through the Zoom canoe that we're all in. So it's a blessing. And I'm excited about what you're about to guide us through.
So before I do that, I like to always acknowledge the elders, and as I've been taught my whole life from a good Kentucky gal who worships her grandmothers before me, Mammy Jones and Grandma Finley. They've been gone the other side for a very long time. And my dear mother passed a year ago at 94. And she was, as grandmother Twyla would say, the Seneca Wolf Clan grandmother, my mother she would say, a kick butt, fry bacon kind of person. And that's what we need right now. We really need down to earth and to bring all this wisdom. And, we've got it. We've got the knowledge. We've got the wisdom. We really do. The archetypes, we have that. But, now it's the kicking butt, frying bacon, whether you're a vegetarian or not. It's like, it's an important time. And I remember I said to Grandmother Twyla one time, I said, every time I call you on the reservation, she lived in up in on the reservation there and at Cattaraugus, and she would say to me, I'd say, Graham, and this is back at corded phones, if you all can remember. Any of you remember corded phones? I'm 73, so I don't know how many of you had corded phones. But anyway, I'd call her and she'd answer, and I'd say, what are you doing, Graham? She'd say, kicking butt, frying bacon. And every time I'd call, she would say that, and I would say, is that good for your health to eat that much bacon? She said, oh, silly. I'm not always, she said, I'm saying that I'm busy. I'm here doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm here and I'm loving it. So I feel that I walk in her footsteps. So I have a little picture here of her when she came out to see me when I was living in Fairfax, California, many years ago. You could tell it's many years ago. Anyway, there's Graham.
Oh, she's beautiful.
She is truly beautiful. Her hair went down to her waist.
What's that you're holding?
That's a wolf rattle, actually, that came from a woman, a Native American woman from Canada, actually. And she's giving me a reading about the rattle, because the rattle came from another Native woman who passed it to me after she'd done breath work with me. And she said, thank you for sharing your medicine. I don't have anything to pay you. And I said, it's no problem. She says, I want to give you this rattle. And she gave me a wolf rattle.
Nice.
So, and this particular wolf, unfortunately, kept attacking the people there, had their sheep, and they eventually had to, because he'd gotten taste of it and that sort of thing, and they had to take him down. But then they gave the skin and hide to a native man who was in prison. And I don't know what he'd done, but it's enough to be in prison. And so this man took the skin, and he was native, and part of his rehabilitation was to make things from this wolf. And this was the rattle that was given to me. So anyway, Grandma's telling me the energy of it, and just saying how important it was to continue to live in alignment in a good way, and to walk the good path, as I call it. So that's Grandma. And I also just really wanted to acknowledge the Mayan teachings that maybe some of you know. Eric Gonzalez was my Mayan teacher 35 years ago, and he grew up in Guatemala and was given to elders when he was a little boy because they didn't think he would survive. And the elders took him out into the woods and into the anyway, they took him out and basically kept him until they healed him. Of course, he still had a short leg and these various things, but they healed him and they told him that now he was to become the shaman. So that's what he's done his whole life, is to walk that path. So being with all of you this evening is brought tears to my eyes to think of Grandma Twyla, who's been gone several years now, and to think of, and she's right here, especially now with you all, but also with Eric, and he's still around, but he's an elder as well. And how important it is what you're doing here, Scott. You're an elder as well. And what you're doing here is the same as Grandmother Twyla, as Eric Gonzalez, and I could name like probably many people here. Somebody the other day said to me, Starwolf, it would be easier to ask you who you have not met. The first person I breathed with was, Stan Groff. And Jacqueline Small, I'd certified in her training program almost 40 years ago. So I've been doing breath work, and I birthed shamanic breath work specifically with elders who were guiding me. And I did that, and actually they wanted me to trademark it. And I thought, who would ever name their breath work? This is 35 years ago. Who would ever even think of naming it shamanic breath work? And I'm like, why would I want to do that? And they said, you must protect the teachings. So most of my books have been inspired from my shamanic breathwork journeys. I did the psychedelics, some of you all were speaking there, and I know that in a good way, when you're using that in a good way, it's really, really good. And at the same time, I used up my psychedelic brownie points as a teenager and ended up in hospital with a psychotic break. And I did a lot beforehand, and then I got something that I went over the edge at I can't even remember who the rock group was. I think it was maybe the James Gang or something. But anyway, so I ended up in mental hospital for a while, and I was in school to be a social worker at the same time. Both were educational experiences. But when I came out from that, I knew from there on that I was going to work in a shamanic way and in a good way, and that I was going to work with activating the chemicals in my own brain, in my own body and soul. So I'm not against people using it because now you have guides who are hopefully more conscious and helpful instead of just a teenage girl at a rock concert, from Kentucky, taking LSD and like, whoa, goodbye, see ya. So
I think that's how many of us woke up. For me, it was going to Yes concerts.
Yeah.
And definitely with some, extra psychedelic support. So that's how many of us got started.
Yes, and with the naivete, when they passed around the fishbowl with different colored pills, like one will make you, like the
Right.
white rabbit or whatever, and just, oh yeah, okay, this is like jelly beans, so.
And isn't it beautiful to see the work that Cassandra is doing? That now it's been
Yes.
decriminalized enough to where, the healthy psychedelics can be used, with professional support. I'm so glad to see that we finally have gone in that direction.
Right. And I think that was the adolescent years of the, when, before LSD and thing was out, was outlawed and made criminal and all those kinds of things. And I understand there were a lot of people that were getting hurt because of the way it was being used and that sort of thing. And it needed to be, protected. But I think we've come full circle now to realize that a lot of these medicines can really help people when it's done in a good way, when you've got the right guidance and
Yeah.
support.
Exactly.
We could
Exactly.
talk about this all night. You should do a show just on this, about the altered state, and I have so much to share about that with people. And because I myself am in recovery from alcohol for 44 years. So, and all those other substances too. So, my three main, I guess you will say, idols were Janis Joplin, okay,
Of course.
Jim Morrison, and Marilyn Monroe when I was a
Oh.
teenager. And I thought it was a little bit of all three. And I noticed that all three of them died before they were 30.
Mm,
And I almost went that path too.
yeah.
So, but yet there was something they had that we're talking about the feminine, I know that Marilyn had to do it in the way she had to do it for the time she was in, but she was, let's just put it this way, she was ballsy. She did it in her own way, And of course, she was too much for this world. Same with Janice, Same with Jim. So hopefully, the archetypes that they were playing out and that I tapped into, hopefully, I can be more like Grandma Twyla. I can be around to 94 and, to do the kind of things that she did, and to really make a difference. And she helped write the proclamation that the government actually accepted around Native Americans having rights all those times years ago with her and Sun Bear and many others. And I know you know those people too. So
I
there's
want to share. I want to share two things, and then I know we got to get to the
I
dream.
know.
But Cassandra just wrote that she had posters of Janis
Yes.
Joplin and Jim Morrison
She
on
did.
her ceiling as a teenager.
Yeah.
And two
Let's
interesting,
role play.
two interesting things. First of all, Marilyn Monroe has some great quotes.
Yeah.
Just Google quotes from Marilyn Monroe, and you'd be amazed. They're great. But my favorite one is, if you can't handle the worst of me, you sure as hell don't get the best of me. And I think that's a pretty
Rock
great
on,
quote.
Marilyn.
Absolutely. And
Did it.
Jim Morrison, if you ever read the biography of Jim Morrison, which is by an author named Sugarman, I think it's called No One Gets Out of Here Alive.
Yeah.
When he was 9 or 10 years old, his family was traveling across the Arizona desert. And just
Yeah.
ahead of them, there was a terrible accident, and a truckload of Indians went over, and several of the Indians died in the accident. And Jim Morrison believed that one of the spirits, he watched the spirit of the Indian leave his body and come into his body. Now, mind you, he was only 9 or 10 years old when this happened, but he believed throughout his life that that spirit kind of that merged with him was a big part of his shadow side, his other side, his creative side. So he was an extraordinarily mystically oriented person, who, anyway, we could go on and on about Jim Morrison.
Yeah, I love Jim Morrison. I've seen that movie about 5 times. The Jim Morrison movie, and it shows that there's
Yeah.
the car wreck, and there's looks like the old medicine man. He comes
Mhm.
and looks in the window or at the car, and because they're stopped, and they can't get around the car,
Yeah,
and looks and actually I think blows towards him or whatever,
right.
and that affected him so profoundly, and it feels like that he was primed to become a shaman. But I think that we know this. I mean, and I have many, many friends on the different reservations, that sort of thing. And I live here like 5 minutes from Cherokee, so I've worked quite a bit with some of the younger native people because I'm an addictions counselor, that a lot of them had those substance problems, and they didn't want to go to a regular treatment program or whatever. So they came over here and did shamanic breath work, and we built medicine wheels and sacred pipe and all those kinds of things. And happy to say quite a few of those people have remained thus far sober in their lives.
Good.
And have gone back to their own medicine, because I knew more about their medicine than they did.
Wow.
Wow. And one guy, Shannon, says, it's so weird to have this white woman with blue eyes, and he loves me. I'm his mama. He calls me Mama Wolf. And he said, it's so weird to have a, this blonde haired, blue eyed adopted wolf mama who's non-native teaching me about my culture and reintroducing me to the ceremonies of Sweat Lodge and Medicine Wheel and all these things. And yeah, he called me the other day and was, because he relapsed a few times, got arrested a few times, was wondering he's not dead, but he's doing really well. And he was one of 13 children, and he has 11 children. And this guy's not that old, and he's got, I forget how many grandchildren. So I feel like him finding himself and remembering his shamanic self in the world and taking that back to his loved ones is affecting all these children and all these grandchildren to remember who they really are.
Thank you for providing that service. Thank you. And you know what? We could chat all day, and the show is already like 45 minutes over. So here we go.
Okay. Okay, so what I want to say about breath work is shamanic breath work, like I said before, is something that was birthed out of holotropic breath work and integrative breath work, and also my good friend Leonard Orr out of rebirthing. And that I brought that together to bring together shamanism, mental health, counseling, and breath, knowing that that was a way to get high and to go low or any place in between in the shamanic world to activate the inner shaman. I wrote a book called The Aquarian Shaman that addresses that we all have within us the opportunity and the ability to heal and transform our lives. And it's as simple, or not so simple sometimes, to breathe. So that's what we're going to do right now. And if you're interested in the mechanics of it, you can always order my book, Shamanic Breath Work, which I wrote about 20 years ago or 25 years ago. That gives you step-by-step how to do it. And this is a very abbreviated version that I do in conferences and things, but it's very profound. And in just 15 or 20 minutes, you can have a very profound, especially this group, you're going to have a profound experience. I have no doubt about it. The big thing, as I said, is to just open your heart humbly, to let your expectations go, accept that you trust that your higher power or the great mystery is going to guide you to exactly where you need to go and help you to experience exactly what you need. So in just a moment, I'm going to pick up my drum and I'm going to do a heartbeat of the drum and just say a few words about taking you in and creating protection. I smudged at the beginning of our evening together and sent that out to all of you. So we're already, as you already know, in a sacred container. And so we've created that safety, and we say in our work in the shamanic world, safety first, transformation second. Safety first, create the container, transformation second. Just don't go off nilly-willy and just go into altered states. Safety first, transformation second. And third is integration. Make it count. Make it be for a reason. So I'm going to do the heartbeat of the drum. I'm going to take you in. This is music that I worked with a young musician many, many years ago. We co-created this together. It's been used at Burning Man a lot, I hear. But anyway, it's going to move you through some different levels of consciousness. I will not be talking over it so that you can have your own voice speaking to you. So I'll be quiet while it's happening. And just go into the breathing and what that's going to look like. And I'm just going to demonstrate. If you can, if your nose is clear enough, you'll breathe in through your nose and then until all the breath is gone. It's called shamanic connective breathing. And when you're doing that, just do it with the vibration and frequency of the music. And while you're doing that, just letting go. If you say, oh, I wonder if my dog needs to go out to the bathroom, say he can wait. I'll clean it up later, whatever. There'll be all kinds of thoughts that come in to say, hello, breathe, and keep going. And breathe until you're surprised. And then you're on a journey. At the end, you'll hear dun 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 dun. You have to have the call back. That signals your consciousness. She said, when I hear that, to come back home. So you'll be coming back. And we'll see where we are then. Okay? And if there's anything that, like I said, if you need to go to chat during the breathing because you're panicking a little bit, or you're just feeling nothing's happening, or you just saw Elvis or whatever it might happen, um, just unless it's something that's really that you need, I encourage you not to chat.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
if you need something, I'm here. Okay.
And is it best for people to close their eyes, and is it best to lie down?
I encourage people to what's comfortable. If they've got a comfortable chair, if they have a couch, if they have a yoga mat, but make it so that you're not going to fall. That you're in a safe, place. Have your blanket, have a pillow, whatever's comfortable. It's okay to sit back in the chair and put your feet up. You can, however, if you're lying down, you can thrash around more. You can beat on a pillow a little bit if you need to. You can do, other things, but that's entirely up to you in this abbreviated ceremony. Any more questions?
Nope. Thank you so much.
Okay. Close your eyes.
Star Wolf, is your original sound on?
My original sound. Nicholas, is the original music on, a sound on?
On the one, otherwise we won't hear your drum.
Let me ask him if that.
Just try knocking on the drum and we'll see if
Sounds
it's.
like.
Are you there, Nicholas?
Yeah, give it a try. Let's see what it sounds like.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not hearing it. So
Nothing. Yeah.
she's
Do you
gonna
have the beater with you, Star?
Mm,
You need to turn the original sound on because Zoom will just cut it out otherwise.
can you do
while
that?
she's figuring that out, and which will just take a moment. This is a good time for me to remind people of her website. And her website is Shamanic Breathwork, The Nature of Change. And if you go to this link, you can put in your email address and get all the information and get a wonderful, wonderful gift from her. So I'm going to put that link into the chat box, and I encourage everybody to take advantage of it. And Linda Starwolf, are we all set?
Nicholas is checking that it doesn't understand why that was not working, so he's just looking at another link here. Hold on.
He probably just needs to turn on original sound.
Yeah, where do I find that?
So
You go into audio settings. You need to go into Zoom settings and then scroll down to audio.
Mm-hmm.
Are you there?
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll see microphone modes.
Got it.
And below microphone modes, there's three things. You'll see original sound for musicians.
Yep, it's on.
There we go. Good.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Well, as I said in the military, we just need a few good men. Thank you. Thank you to our fellows here for being the good guys and getting this going. Okay. So one more time, can you hear this?
Perfect.
Good? Okay. So be comfortable, sit back. Focus on your heart beating like the drum. It's said that the drum was originally created to mimic, if you would, the heartbeat of the earth, the heartbeat of every living thing, trees, insects, humans, all creatures great and small, that the universe itself has a heartbeat. Everything, from the stone to the tiny ant, has a heartbeat. everything is alive. And bring that consciousness to this time, this special timelessness of day out of time. I remember Gerrit Gonzalez saying to me, this is the most magical, fortuitous time, and it's also a dangerous time. Birth and rebirth, as always, has a danger to it, especially to the ego. And so we call on the guiding light at the end of the tunnel. We encircle ourselves with golden protection, with power animals, spirit guides, helpers of all kinds. And we call upon the great mystery to take us wherever it is that we need to go. And with that, we begin to breathe. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And the music should come on. Nicholas, we're not hearing the music. Doing that until he can get the music to come on. So Mercury retrograde, interstellar. Have a safe and sacred journey.
Yahweh, Yahweh,
take a deep breath. Exhale fully. Feel your heart beating steady and strong, full of love and courage for the times we're in, for each of our own sacred purpose, of what we're here, the medicine we're here to bring at this time. We're not here by accident, so we must be here on purpose. Welcome back. As you come back, I'd like to just ask you to take a minute to listen to a song that most of you will probably recognize. But always try to play something that's going to help ground you when you come back. And something that's meaningful, or at least it is to me. Sometimes we just need a little help to find our hearts of gold. We were all born innocent. May we do the precious work of family of origin and shadow if we truly want to embrace the light. Remember, in the shamanic world, the light, the dark, both lead to consciousness and to a higher consciousness. Welcome back. Welcome home for a while. Let this song open your heart even more and help you to remember you have a heart of gold. Share it with the world. Welcome back. Welcome back home for a little while on this earth. Let's make the most of it.
Oh. Oh, thank you so much. I'd love for people to pop into the chat box. any experiences that they had that they want to share. And already there's a few things I can share with you.
Please do.
Margaret writes, it was a great healing journey, my shamanic life. Carol Craig writes, tremendous shamanic experience. The flute was so resonant and powerful. Um, and Susan just sent a lot of hearts, which is beautiful. And some more are still coming in. While we're waiting for those to come in from all of you, I know it takes a little time to come into your body. Here is again her website. Her main website is shamanicbreathwork.org. Shamanicbreathwork.org. Also Venus Rising, Home of Shamanic Breathwork. And there's all sorts of things you can learn here. She has certification and training. And there's a video you can play if you want to have another online experience. It's a beautiful video. Definitely sign up for her newsletter. And also, she's on WhatsApp. So if you just click here, and that takes you to WhatsApp, and you can open it up and join and become part of her group. So there's a lot of ways to connect with our wonderful, wonderful Star Wolf. And a big thank you to Nico, your partner, who everybody needs a Nico. I could use a Nico.
You can have him.
No.
I wouldn't be able to do all this without him. This is not my forte. I'm just a hippie shaman. Do the best I can.
You're a wonderful, magnificent, beautiful hippie shaman. And next time you're on the show, we'll talk rock and roll. You know, I had John Kay, who was the creator of Steppenwolf, on the show a couple of years ago. So maybe we'll do an old rock and roll show, get John Kay, John Anderson, a few others to come on and reminisce.
We'll have a little shamanic rock and roll.
Have a shamanic rock and roll. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Scott. You're just, I'm a huge fan of yours and have been for a long time. And I know that, we share some similar things with losses that we've had in the world.
Yeah.
And also feeling that fully, but also instead of closing our hearts, breaking them open even bigger. And while I'm not, wishing those kinds of events on anyone, it is a very shamanic path to have your heart broken repeatedly, because each time it can either become like the Grinch and get smaller, or it can break open like the Grinch did.
Yeah.
And get bigger. And, this is especially at this time, I think the only thing that's really going to move us through these times is to let our hearts completely break for the great sadness about so many things.
Yeah.
To let it break, and then to breathe. Right. And to remember there's a bigger story coming and that we're part of it. And it's by not letting our hearts shrink, but making it bigger, just like the pearl is created inside of the clamshell.
Absolutely. I love as Rumi taught us, when your heart breaks, may it break open, right, so that we can experience life even more vividly and more fully. I've brought all of our presenters up. We're going to bring up Mayor Cromwell also, but I just want to bring all of our presenters up. And because we've gone so long and over, I don't think we're going to have time for a lot of Q&A. I know that Cassandra needs to go, and probably others do too, because it's getting really, really late. So I just wanted to bring all of our wonderful, beloved presenters up before we go to Mayor. Now, if any of you can stay, great, and we can do a little short Q&A. But if any of you need to go eat dinner or go to bed based on where you might be in the world, of course, we're still going to have our prayer time with Giara. We're going to hear, we've got some global peace rep announcements. We're also going to hear from Mayor Cromwell. But I just wanted to bring everybody up at least one more time, and thank all of you for just your beautiful gifts, and how wonderful to be with 4 wise women and 1 beautiful brother. So I want to thank all of you very, very much.
2 beautiful brothers. Come on, man.
Two beautiful brothers. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. So Blessings. If you're here after Mayor and prayer time, great. We'll do some Q&A. And if not, thank you all for being with us so much.
Thanks to everyone. I've got to go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cassandra. Love you.
I'll be on for a few more minutes, but then I have to go too. We're packing. We've got motors coming.
I know Nico wrote that he also needs a Nico. So
It's true. It's true.
I appreciate that. All right. Well, I do want to bring up Mayor Cromwell, and this is very spontaneous. Just yesterday, I was going through my email, and I noticed that she's got something really, really special happening tomorrow. And I thought, oh my God, this is right up the alley of Global Peace Tribers. So welcome back to the show, Mayor, and thank you for being patient with us. And please tell us about this beautiful event you're putting together that's happening tomorrow.
Well, thank you, Scott, for having me. And I'm just really honored to be here. It's such an amazing group of women. I'm so honored to be part of this. So tomorrow is actually a lead-up event to the Thousand Goddesses Gathering Global Grid, which is an annual divine feminine unified field of ceremonies around the world. But tomorrow I am offering an event called Heart of Water, Orientation and Activation. And the Heart of Water came into me last year. A divine feminine council from the spiritual realms, universal realms, had come in and they were blessing me and activating me for a couple of weeks. And at the time, I was in the process of also preparing to co-lead a webinar called Water Speaks with a very gifted Dutch friend, a nature spirit mystic, phenomenal man. And when he and I met in planning for this webinar, which is a lead up to the Thousand Goddess Gathering event last year, we both were getting the messages from the spirit planes that we were going to start downloading more information and more transmissions. And so I was doing a lot of water ceremony in the bathtub every morning, like 6 in the morning, pouring sacred water in the bath and just calling on my spirit teams. And so I was calling on the consciousness of water, seeing if I could reach this incredible consciousness. And one morning, at like 6:30 in the morning, I'm lying in the bathtub doing my water ceremony, calling on, seeing if I could contact the consciousness of water. And what I heard was Heart of Water. It came in this powerful energy and activated the water in the bathtub, activated the water within me. And I knew immediately that this was associated with the Divine Feminine Council that I'd been working with. And so I have been activating people, introducing them to the Heart of Water. And tomorrow is going to be a live event where I'm going to provide some orientation, a little bit of background to water, the mystical, magical aspects of water, and then activate people to the Heart of Water. Because Mother Gaia, who I work really closely with, is asking that I take this far and wide because it's a very high spiritual frequency. And it is about healing our water. And when I told a couple of gifted friends of mine who are really cosmic shamans about the Heart of Water and they tuned in, one of them said, this used to be a characteristic aspect of water throughout the universe, but then it got excised, it got cut out by some nefarious energies. So somehow it's come into me to then bring it back. I'm not the only person. I've tuned in and I've gotten there. A couple of people walking the planet who are bringing this in. And this is really, really humbling that this is part of what I'm doing. But it's all lead up to the global grid of ceremonies then on September 20th, which I hope everyone listening here will join. It's ceremonies all over the world, water ceremony, calling on our spirit teams and calling on the Heart of Water to bless our waters, to activate our waters. And so that's what I'm doing tomorrow. And I'm just so honored, Scott, that you saw my newsletter and reached out to me earlier today.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that you were available to join us today. Can you pop the link into the chat box of how people can go and register? What's the easiest way for people
Yes. Hold on for a second.
Pop that link in and I'll show it. And Star Wolf has, I'm a dog lover. So who's this beautiful being on your lap?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Mystic Wolf. And he's ready to
Mystic
go to
Wolf.
Portugal. He loves the water.
All right. Well, Mystic Wolf, we have to balance, we have to be integrated. So we're going to honor our canine friends. We're going to honor our feline friends. And there's Rihanna with her soulmate kitten. And which one is this, Rihanna?
It's Yoshi.
Yes, it's Yoshi.
He's a magician. He's a wizard.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I would go get Jasmine Bear. Okay, Jazzy, can you get, well, Jazzy, come here. Come here.
I was
Let's
just going
see
to
if I
say,
can-
Mystic comes to all the breath works, and he goes and lays down by people, puts his paw on their chest, lays his head, watches people get rebirthed, and he's just like, he loves breath work.
Oh, that's
They
fantastic.
do. They always do. They love it.
They love
They
this
know.
work.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you for bringing our furry friends in. And I'm going to take a look at the chat and see if we've got the website from our beloved mayor in there. And Scotty Satori writes, I was on an event with Pause for Pause today for the fundraiser. They might have found a place. We support Pause for Pause. That's, of course, Khadije's place, or her organization. And here we go. Okay. So for people to register, go to greatmotherlove.earth. Greatmotherlove.earth.
Yeah, and I also, thank you, Scott. I also did put the direct link for the event tomorrow. But if you go to my website, that's perfect. Just scroll down, you'll find the event.
Okay.
And yes, Rihanna, thank you for everything you shared, because you spoke about the water in our body and reclaiming the Divine Mother. And I've surrendered to serve the Great Mother. So I love what you shared. A lot of it was very new to me, but it's fascinating.
But perfectly timed too. And did you say that the event, the global event, is going to be the 20th of September?
Yes.
So the day before International Peace Day, is that right? Yeah, and the
Yes.
equinox.
Yes, in
That's
that
going to
portal.
be a crystal serpent in the wave of wizards. So it's really an interesting choice, because it's about reclaiming the life force, which is, of course, pulsing through the divine water. So
Yes.
I love that.
Love it. Yeah, thank you. And Star Wolf, it's wonderful to meet you. We've connected years ago over Facebook, but many blessings and love to your moving adventure.
You. It's one thing to move, it's another to take a whole retreat center. And people said, that can't be done. I'm like, you obviously don't know me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a force. You're clearly a force.
Well, we look forward to visiting you in Portugal. And do you know Jennifer Hill there? Do you know Jennifer?
I think she wrote me, maybe. I mean, I
I'll
probably had
connect you.
90 people write me once they see that I'm coming,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, we can't wait. We have wolves here. Do you know we have wolves here?" I'm like, "No, I think we have wolves there in Central. There's wolves," and I'm like, so everybody, and it's something else I love about it. It's called the Land of the Dragons.
It's a portal, obviously.
Yes, obviously.
Portugal.
There's a whole story to it.
Portugal. Right.
Wow.
Well,
Right.
there was a meteorite that hit there millions or billions of years ago when there were dinosaurs. And in the village that we're moving into, the sea village right next to the ocean, it means the place of the land of dragons. Then I found out that they filmed the what is it, the dragon thing, that's that series that's so popular. I can't think what it's called.
Something of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones.
That's it.
Thank you. I had to go to. But anyway, yeah, the serpents, and it was a very positive thing. But the meteorite hit and killed all the dinosaurs in Lorraine. There were apparently a lot of them, millions of years ago, or billions. And so when the people came that were more primitive after that, and they found these humongous bones, they called it dragons. They thought it was dragons. They didn't know anything about dinosaurs. So the legend has had it that it's the place where the dragons were born. And then the dragons, they've had the Game of Thrones or whatever there. And I don't know if that they did that on purpose, with the dragons, but who knows? But I don't know. It's fun, and I'm born in the year of the Chinese water dragon, so I need water, ladies, and you gentlemen too. Please pour your water on me because I have all air and all fire in my chart and one lonely water sign, but but it's Scorpio. So then my husband said, "Well, you can't even count that as water." I said, "It's my one water sign. No one's taking it from me."
I'm going to read one last comment, and then we're going to go to prayer time. Ayana wrote, I got a basic message from your journey. Start to truly embody and live the wisdom and teachings that you have experienced. Step fully into them now and use them to help this world in transformation. And I think that's, Ayana, you've summed up what all of these wise women in their own unique ways are sharing with us, because it is about embodying the wisdom and the teachings that we are so blessed to have received in so many different forms, so many different ways, so much wisdom flowing into our awakening world. So thank you, Rihanna. Thank you, Linda Starwolf. Thank you, Mayor. I respect all three of you, appreciate all the wonderful work you're doing in the world. And I am going to turn it over to another wise woman, Tiara, who leads our prayer time every week.
Thank you, Scott. Hello, everyone. And on a night like tonight, there's only one way to start our prayer time, and that's with some light language. Shimene hesi kimini sakamo one, hoshoma one me tikina mahaswatana, hokosho oma sikina hemi sikino atemene, hoshomi ne kisatana, hoko oma si kitana lashmini me, sakasi ni misika tuanehe. Shokuma asi mini swakashi tuane ete emisiha prate neheta hamohe asata koshe mini sikiti namase tiwa ene hishiki eti me enea Oma alanichi kimi tanahasato mishi kanahasati mi I oshone mi he ha sikimi no twa Onoshwi kimina sakatane ene kolani misikine matasaka. Osho onani misikini mi afina hasa. Oshemehe hase hina hase mehaine. Shohani tiyama. Sukanasi mahashiti. Anaswaha minahai. Waishi ama aina akalani totone mehetea oteme enehe haeme onehe siki ama hasiti nashu ono aisi kinama oesi minina oshane minine. Breathing in that breath of life, drinking in the waters of life, deep into our bones, deep into our cells, blessing all of our bodies, all those around us, the waters of life, the mother of life, the skies of love and light. Bringing into our sacred cauldron all those that we think of in our hearts and our minds, blessing all of our teachers, known and unknown, from all lifetimes, in all directions of time and space. Sending love to all those who have given so much to us. Blessing all those here, all those to come. And just being so grateful for this beautiful night of magic and mystery, music and love. And just allowing all the energy that's come into our bodies to continue to expand. Just feeling it move through you, healing, 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 holding, holding, holding. Feel your heart's expanding. Feel the waters of life entering your blood. Give great thanks And may this energy continue. And I am sending energy into the requests inside the chat. And as we get ready to not only wrap up our beautiful cauldron, but to continue to let it expand while we rest, while we watch this again, no matter when we do in time and space. Just knowing that all the magic will continue. And we could stay in this beautiful sacred space forever and ever and ever. And yet our human bodies may require more fortitude and sustenance. And so I'll reluctantly hand the reins back to you, Scott, for Om Ashar and just many blessings to all the beloveds here tonight, known and unknown, seen and unseen.
Thank you, Deora. And we're going to go to gallery view and have a couple of minutes of silence for us to put into the great cosmic prayer list whatever prayers are in your heart for yourself or for our planet or for our awakening world or for others that you know that might be struggling at this time. And we do pray for maximum grace for all of our global peace tribers and, of course, maximum grace for our awakening world. And coming back, we're going to go to Om Ashar in a moment for a closing song. But I want to let people know what's coming up. Speaking of Deora, it's the beautiful show she puts together every year as we celebrate and prepare for Interfaith Awareness Week. And that'll be what's happening next Wednesday night. And she's brought back some of her wonderful, wonderful people that are very involved in Interfaith Awareness Week. So, and of course, Om Ashar will be with us. So that's what's happening on Wednesday night. And then a week from tonight, it will be our monthly soul search night with Tangela and healers and psychics and all sorts of wonderful friends. We just don't have a poster for that yet. So thank you. And thank you, everybody who's been with us. It's been a long and wonderful show. So many wonderful pieces of wisdom. And we're going to close it out with our beautiful, beloved brother, Om Ashar.
Here with my family, heaven is in my heart. I sing of the love I am, and know we're never apart. One heart, one love, one life we live. One heart, one love, in this life we live. Here with my family, heaven is in my heart. I sing of the love I am, and know it never apart. One heart, one love, in this life we live. One heart, one love, in this life we live. One more time. Let me hear you. Say with my family, heaven is in my heart. I sing of the love I am, and though we're never apart, there is only one heart, one love in this life we live. One heart, one love in this life we live. We live. We
Thank you, beloved Omashar. Thank you, beloved Global Peace Tribers. Thank you, Rihanna and Mare and Cassandra and everybody. I'm tired.
But you can even speak, Scott, after Darwolf's journey is like a really
Yeah.
we get it, and we love everybody here.
Yeah,
Thank
we do. Absolutely. Take care, everybody. Have a beautiful Sunday tomorrow. Remember, we can make it sacred by seeing the divine in all. And I hope to see all of you on Wednesday night as we celebrate Interfaith Awareness Week. Good night, everybody. Take care.